Hello, welcome to Tony's Bonsai. I've got an exciting episode for you today. Later on I'm going to be doing some major work on this silver birch. But before then I need to do some big chops on a couple of field maples. So let's take a look. I put this tree in the ground last spring, so it's only had 12 months in. But I think now is the time to make a major decision on it. It's been really healthy. You can see these long shoots. These are just 1 year's growth. They're about, well, they're over 1 metre long. And so that's a sign that the tree's doing well. In terms of the actual structure of the tree, you can see there's a nice thick base. It curves nicely here. There's a bit more movement. Then it starts going fairly taperless up to these higher sections. And I think this is a natural leader. It looks like it's in a great place to change the movement. This should grow really strongly this year. So what I'm going to do is cut this off here. I've left a stump of about 20 millimeters just to allow for a bit of dieback, and I'll carve that back next year. As you can see, this trunk's absolutely full of new fresh buds. It's budding out all over the place, so many new branches, and I need to make some decisions on these existing branches. This one is kind of underneath the new leader and it's coming off at a funny angle, so the best thing is just to get rid of that. And in fact, it's only a thin one. I'll cut that back flush. That's quite weak, and that'll do nothing compared to these new buds that fly out in the spring. I can keep these ones, but the reality is these are going to be quite slow compared to all these new buds that are going to push out. So I've decided to remove all the existing branching and just completely grow this tree from new using all these fresh buds that are going to explode. There's no need to do any major wiring to this, but seeing as I've got a piece just handy lying around, what I'll do is I'll just twist it round there, just like that, and just bend that in an upward direction. My next field maple had a crazy year last year. I left this branch at the back. This was the main branch with all the buds on it and everything. It didn't do much, and then in just 3 months the tree sent out these huge thick branches. So what to do with this now is the question. It's where I cut it. That's the question. So what to do with this? It's tough to know, really. I can't keep all these branches on. They'll just be too much up at the top. I suppose I could keep them on and I could develop it into a kind of broom style, but these two here are very close together. At least one of them has to go. There's no doubt about that. So let's just take that one off to start with. Get rid of that. Do I really want a tree with two branches kind of opposite each other like that? I don't, so that one's also going to go. And then this one at the back, it was so much weaker than this new fresh growth. That has to go. And that may as well go. And now I'm down to one main leader. And I've got two choices as I see it. I can either keep this, cut down an angle and make this into the new leader, or I can make this branch here into the new leader, because there's quite a clump up at this top and I'm not sure what it's going to look like when I cut that back. I think the best thing I should do is cut this off first and see what it looks like. And if it doesn't look any good, I can then go lower. You'll just have to imagine me sawing this off because I forgot to press record. I started to cut here and I realised it was just not going to work. There was too much awkward stuff round at the back. So I decided to cut above this lower branch. I've done a lovely nice clean cut there. Let's see how that goes. With both of these maples, what I will do is add a nice layer of cut paste, especially around the edges where the bark is. And it's surprising how quickly these heal up. So that'll be well on its way within a couple of years. Just for fun, I'm going to take these branches that I cut off and just push them in like that. You never know. They might root. It's time to make some big decisions on this tree. The problem with this tree is there's not really a lot of taper. In fact, there's inverse taper from the trunk. It gets quite fat here and then it comes up in a fairly straight manner, comes off at a funny angle. There's lots of big wounds. There's a big wound there. There's a couple of big cuts here. I mean, they will heal up and they are healing up well, but just the overall shape of that, I'm really not sold on it at all. It doesn't really do anything for me. And last time I worked on this tree, there was a suggestion, I can't remember who it was by, and they said, why don't you just go for it and remove all this? And you know, I think they're dead right. It's got to go. I may as well take that off first, just so it's not in the way. I think these branches, I'll leave those for the time being. They may well stay, and they'll add some good health to the tree, seeing as I'm removing this big section. So I think what I need to do now is just work out where to cut through that. As I look at this, it has actually got some nice radial roots as well. Certainly on this side. I think it's got some over there as well. So it's a nice tree. But where should I cut? I'm thinking I need to get rid of this whole inverse taper section. So I either come here or I come over here. I think that would be a bit too drastic, and there's no need to be that drastic. This will add nice taper, and that there will then taper up nicely through this midsection into that. So I think that's the cut. Yeah, let's just commit to this and do it. My cut didn't go perfectly. I've kind of made two separate cuts at this section, so it's not a problem. All I'll do is just nibble this part back. These are the little accidents that sometimes end up being for the best, you know. This might produce a better shape, not quite as flat. So just trying to get in there and just clean this bit off, and hollow this out a touch as well, rather than this just being a straight flat. If this has got a hollow profile, the final healing will be a bit neater, which is ultimately what I want. You know, I'm not looking to carve this into a deadwood part of the tree. I want this to heal. My experience with birch is that they're very, very quick healers. So, but it is very hard wood. I'm going in now with a sharp wood chisel, which is my preferred method for this type of carving. It allows me a lot of control, allows me to get the edge of the bark there nice and clean, which will allow hopefully for really good healing. I've just spent 5 minutes working away, carving a bit of this around here down, and I've made the decision that it's just a bit chunky there. I mean, ideally I would have been better coming across just at a slightly shallower angle than that, like there, but I didn't, and so I can remedy it by just coming up like this and just taking that edge off to ultimately help with taper down the road. I'm just taking my time with this, doing a nice slow cut. There we go. Oh, that's better. Look at that straight away. Straight away we've got a lovely line that doesn't look at all clunky and awkward. Looks good from both sides as well. Sometimes we have to take our time with decisions and just work our way through. Don't want to jump in and do anything daft that can't be undone. And if we work in a methodical manner, then eventually, hopefully, we get the result we want, like this, which is a nice line of the tree. What I will do is I'll just try and take some of this sapwood out to allow this bark to sort of roll over a bit easier. Because at the moment it's on a very steep angle, that, and I'd rather that be a bit more like that. That's better. I'd rather have a slight lip on that edge where the bark's proud of the sapwood, and that's going to allow it to roll. It might not look like I've done much there, but I just spent 10 minutes just gently teasing these sections away, cleaning up these edges, making this already look like it's beginning to roll, and then I give it a good coat of cut paste and really pray or cross your fingers, do whatever it is you do, and with a bit of luck this will carry on growing strongly. This should have a really good root system, this tree. It's 2 years since I collected it and it came with loads of roots, so it should be nice and strong. It's in good soil. Let's just see what happens. So what do you think about my decisions today? Do you agree? Disagree? Doesn't ultimately matter because I can't go back in time anyway. I'm quite happy with the work I've done, and it'll be interesting to follow up and show you how these trees get on as the year progresses. As always, thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.